So my very first job in the industry was a busboy at the Sutton Place Hotel in Toronto. That was just a summertime job. So I had decided to get into the hotel business when I was in high school. I'd looked in the folders that we had in the guidance counselor's office, and hotel management looked like a pretty interesting kind of career. So at that time, I went to the University of Guelph Hotel and Food Administration School. It was there. I think like anybody, I started in pretty junior positions doing all the grunge work. My first job was with Delta Hotels at the Delta Chelsea in Toronto as a desk clerk. Went from being a desk clerk to a general manager, moved out to New Brunswick, to the Delta Brunswick Hotel in St. John, and I managed that hotel for 6 years. Then I left the hotel industry altogether. I went to work for Loblaws, worked with them for 6 years, managing certain assets in Toronto. And then an opportunity came up to get back into the hotel business, but not at the operations or property level. It was going to be at the corporate office level, which is when I joined Best Western. A lot of times in the hotel business these days, people talk about customers, and I always talk about guests, because you work in retail, you have a customer. But if you work in the hotel business, you have a guest. And I think you have to think about it in a slightly different way. A guest is a little different from just a customer. You have to treat them in a slightly different way. And the best way to do that is to actually have face-to-face contact with these folks, right? So if you start as a doorman or a busboy or a waiter or a front desk clerk, housekeeper, you really get to understand what makes that hotel tick. What are the customers looking for? What do they need? And as you move up the ladder, you take that information with you. Because the higher up you go, the more it kind of pulls you back from face-to-face contacts with the guests. And as a GM, you have a lot of things you have to do. But when I was a GM, I still made sure that I had time every single day to do two things. One was walk the floors and talk to the staff. And the other one was walk the floors and go to the restaurant and do everything and talk to the guests. But we used to have when I worked at the Chelsea, our goal there was that if a guest has a complaint, that they leave the hotel happy. And what does that cost? And sometimes the cost can be minuscule, but the value proposition to the guest is huge, So we might send a fruit basket up and say, hey, we're really sorry that this happened, and here's a fruit basket, to show our concern. Fruit basket costs next to nothing. It costs less than $5. But if that guest is paying $140 a night for the room and they leave happy, that was a good $5 investment.